Well, howdy, neighbors, senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. Fan on in the window, of course. It's going to be cooler. It's raining right now, but I have the window open, at least this wide, even during winter time. So I need moving air. It's supposed to be cooler though, so thumbs up on that. Hopefully your day has been a good one. I want to talk about a couple things. First, I'm going to talk about this one. I talk about my fears and my nightmares and my hopes and my dreams in my blogging. I have nobody else to talk to, and I am a talker. I need to talk out things like my fears. When I'm talking about all the bad stuff about why, I wouldn't manage to last here, I'm just talking out my fears. I'm talking about, I've been going on about, the tiny place this, the tiny place that, while I've been doing all the stuff to get in there. I just have 3 things I have to take in. Income certification, my DD-214, which you get out, that's your honorable discharge, your discharge paperwork from the military, and I have to take a UA. I've done everything else. I have not been just sitting and waiting. I've done everything else. I've gotten there, I've gotten a tour, I've talked to the people, I've filled out the paperwork. I've been doing the things, I just talk out my fears. If I'm afraid of something, I gotta talk it out, or it sits here and it festers. And that ain't good. It just gets bottled up. And that ain't good. So I let this stuff out. I talk about, why I couldn't do this, while I'm busy getting ready to do that. I can't have a roommate. I live in a place where I have roommates. I can, of course, have a roommate, so that's not a problem. I'm just talking out my fears, my worries, my dreams, my hopes. I have been just that kind of person. So I'm talking about all the negatives. That's so that they just don't sit up here inside of my head and make things bad in here. So if I get it out, it may sound like I'm being intensely negative, but that's just getting it out of here so I can function. Like I say, I am talking about my fears of the tiny village. Today I'm going in to take in the last 2 pieces of paperwork and hopefully have the UA done. And then everything that I can do will be done. So I'm trying. I'm working hard because, with this situation here, there is a freight train running at me, and there's 30 days before it hits, and each day goes by fast. Now, one of the worries I have about the whole UA thing that I have to take is, they may be just checking for the heavier duty stuff. But the Veterans Administration and veteran stuff is all federal. And under federal rules, THC, cannabis, is just as bad, if not worse, because you can actually study things like poppies and stuff that makes heroin. You can study all these things that make cocaine. You can study these things. Nobody in the federal government has been able to study cannabis because it's a step up and above where it says it's not only useless, it's dangerous, you can't even look at it, we have to get rid of it. It's easy just to go, we're checking for this, and this. Just add another checkbox to add cannabis to it. So I don't know. I'm gonna, of course, do the UA, but I don't know. I'm not gonna say, should we just stop this right now, unless. But I worry. Again, I worry. I talk these things out. Now, my sister really has to talk things out and work on them because with her, she fights, again, compulsive behavior, not just obsessive behavior. It's okay to be obsessive to a certain degree. If it starts to impact your life, you need to pull back. But it's okay to be obsessive as long as it doesn't start to bother your life. When it becomes compulsive, that's when you really have an issue. She's been fighting that. I fight obsessive behavior. I've come close to compulsive behavior in my life ago. Okay, now that I've talked about why I primarily am negative while talking about these things, just to get them out of my head, I'm going to talk about some other stuff now. Like my weight. I am fatter now than I've been in quite some time. After my wife died, I ballooned up to 325 pounds. And then I got really sick. I could not eat. I would literally vomit after eating. Sometimes I would vomit after drinking. I lost 165 pounds in a month and a half. I was 160 when it was all done. I have fluctuated between 170 and 200 for the past 7 years. These past 2, I have gone up, and now I'm at 220. Oh my God. That is 50 pounds more than 160. So, I don't want to be 160. I look like I came out of a concentration camp. I am skeletal. But I don't want to be over 200 either. When I was younger, I fought constantly in the Air Force to keep my weight at 200. So, gotta work on that. Yay. Just thought I'd mention. Stress eater. And then let me take to what else. Oh yes, this is a thing. When I was talking about my SSI and the Social Security and all that, the paperwork that I had to fill out for this last thing, when I say it was a we're looking for reasons, I mean it was a we're looking for reasons to get rid of you paperwork. One of the questions was not a question, but it was literally starting from the moment that you wake up until the moment that you go to bed. Describe your entire day, everything you do, and how each and every one of your disabilities affects each and every one of your daily activities. We're listening. So that's what the kind of paperwork was that I had to fill out. Yeah, I mean, I've got issues. I can't work physically or mentally anymore. I broke physically. My last back injury was my last back injury. I have not been able to work since then. I can barely function. I can't even sit in a normal chair. This chair has lumbar support, plus there's another lumbar support pillow, and even then it's often not enough to keep it from hurting. So joy? But still, I'm waiting. I gotta see, I gotta hear, I gotta find out. So that's another sword of Damocles waiting over my head. Joy. Now let me see what else we have on here. Oh yes, yesterday I took my shower, which, I tend to do. I changed into a brand new pair of pants. And by brand new pair of pants, I mean washed pair of pants. So they had been fresh out of the dryer. And I put them on, and I came up here, and I got myself a snack of some containers of sliced peaches, because I don't eat enough of a variety, and I have to get fruit and stuff when I can. So I was eating sliced peaches out of plastic containers where you take the lids off, and they often, you'll get drips or drops coming out. I pulled off the lid, and a huge amount of the fruit juice inside went boosh and splash, like half a container of juice onto my fresh pant leg. So I could have just sucked it up and had a sticky, sugary spot on my pant leg. Or like I did, I just took the pants off, put them back into the washer, and cleaned that so that there wasn't a huge amount of fruit juice on them. That's the kind of problem I'd rather deal with than all this heavy-duty stuff. As a quick thing, because ADHD squirrel, this summer I have seen not as many spiders outside. Last couple summers it's been slowly getting less. It used to be in August, all of our bushes outside used to be covered in spiders. There'd be spiders everywhere. Orb weavers, spiders just everywhere, because bugs and spiders. This year, yeah, there have been spiders, but comparatively, oh my gosh, there's no spiders out there compared. This summer I've seen one in one position, one spider. Not counting the ones here, not counting cellar spiders, the tiny body, long leggies. I'm talking about the orb weaving, big body, small legs. So not many of those. They are out there, you just don't see them. Like we are abutted against a woodblock, there are possums and raccoons out there, you just don't see them. So let me check the rest of my list. Well, of course, I have therapy today, and then as soon as I'm done with therapy, I got to go out into the rain, because it's raining, to the local Department of Social and Health Services, get the income certification, stop off at the library to copy my DD-214, and then swing by the tiny house place, get them the paperwork, take the UA, and then things will be good. We'll go from there. Okay, what else do I have? Last thing before I'm going to talk about the big one, which isn't even a big one. The whole latest right-wing talking point that, if you think about it, is incredibly insulting. And I saw this the moment that I saw this latest talking point, and it's been being talked about. And there's a guy down in the South, Below the Fifth Column, who he probably does. He does videos about, such, and he's a leftist, and he brought this up, and now he is saying, once this gets out of the right wing and into the general public, I don't think it's going to play out the way they think it's going to play out. Because the GOP's latest talking point is black Americans are now thoroughly behind Trump because he's been arrested and has a mugshot just like them. Latest talking point, GOP, black people love Trump because he has a mugshot just like they do. And so all the black people they know are thoroughly behind Trump because he has a mugshot just like they do. So come out of the talking points bubble of the right wing. So, black Americans apparently like Trump because he's a criminal now, just like they are. I don't think that's a talking point that's going to play out quite the way they think it's going to. Because everything I've seen, now that it's working its way out of the right-wing bubble, people making videos about it, is how out of touch, how insulting, and just how ridiculous this talking point actually is. So, thumbs up! GOP, foot to the ankle. Past that, what I want to talk about here now is it kind of has a lot to do with like games and stuff, but also my life, because there is disassociation and there is dissociation. When you disassociate, that's where you're able to consciously make a decision where you step back from something and you're able to look at it outside yourself. And dissociating is where you don't mean to do that, but you feel like, well, it's kind of like a dreamlike state where you're wondering, who am I? What is happening? What is going on? Why is this happening? Where you are outside yourself and you don't mean to be, and it's very confusing. Not because you're outside yourself, the situation is confusing, thus forcing you into a dissociating state. I dissociate a fair amount, but here's the one I want to talk about. Now here, dissociation here. It's what does a dissociated person act like? Feeling like you're looking at yourself from the outside. Feel as if you're just observing your emotions. Feel disconnected from parts of your body or your emotions. Feel as if you're floating away. Feel unsure of the boundaries between yourself and other people. That's dissociation. You have no control over that. Disassociation, I have a switch in my head that takes me between the normal and empathic, I wouldn't say empathic, I'm not an empath, but empathy person that I am, into I could be just complete disassociated psychopath. And everyone can do this, at least to some degree. Some people a lot, some people less, but it's an emotional switch and more. Because when my wife, when she was alive, when she wanted to go to the bedroom and have frisky times, I would have to flick a switch in my head because I was doing other things. And I would want to do those other things. And then I would have to flick a switch in my head, and then it would be like, oh, those other things don't matter. We're going to the bedroom for a while. So I had to flick a mental switch to do that. But that disassociated switch, it's not just that. There's the game. Oh my God, I can't remember the name of it, but it's something The Line. It's done a couple of years back, like 10 years back. It's Spec Ops The Line. It's a very, very intense and frightening story. Why am I talking about this? Yes, because in the game, one of the people, they are trying to bomb bad people, and they use white phosphorus to try and stop the bad people from doing bad things. White phosphorus is a war crime material. White phosphorus, if it gets on you, it does not need oxygen to burn. You can't stop it. Even if you go underwater, you will still burn. It doesn't need oxygen. It creates its own. It will burn. If you get a fair amount of it on you, it's going to burn to the bone, and you can't stop it. It is some of the worst stuff that you can ever do. And in the game Spec Ops, you find out you bombed about 100 civilians, and they all burned to death with white phosphorus. The worst way to go. It is a horrific thing. Nobody should ever have to die from this. And yet, at the same time, I got that switch in my head where it's like, flick. And it's like, well, of course. I mean, it makes perfect sense. You have to bomb innocent civilians with white phosphorus to make a point. You have to. Sure, they're all going to die terribly. That's the point. You're burning them to death to make a point for other people. So that psychopathic switch, which everybody has in their head, is still, at least I hope so, I can see how some people can be monsters, because if I could never flick that switch back, yeah, I can understand how I could possibly be an empathy-less monster. I'm luckily not, and that switch never stays flicked over for long. It clicks back into normal on its own. But for story purposes and all these things, I can flick that switch and become a totally disassociated person who is like, oh, well, of course we have to run over the innocent with the bulldozers. How else are you going to get it done? So thumbs up on that. Still though, under more normal circumstances, when I'm playing games, I've seen the memes where it's like, they talk about gamers being awful, and then they cut down to the picture where it's like, well, I'm restarting the game because I accidentally chose a dialogue option that made the NPC sad. So you gotta stop and restart that thing because you don't want to make them sad. I was like, yeah, I find it difficult to do some things. Like there's the first game of Dark Souls. Now, if you want to play all the content, you have to be a monster. There is one person who is apparently, I've seen them, beginning of the game, they are a merchant. And they are apparently a fairly innocent merchant. And so, if you treat them as a friendly merchant, you cutting off a lot of content. What you have to do is be a monster and murder this guy. Because if you don't just murder him for no reason, because he's not a boss, and you can just kill him for no reason, and that opens up a whole bunch of new content. I wouldn't have thought of doing that, because I don't think, unless I flick that switch, I don't think like a monster. Who would do that? I wouldn't. And yet, if you don't, you're losing out on a lot of content that you paid for. Ooh. Past that. Yeah, the rest of it in 19 minutes, I didn't do this because my arms, again, I'm waving my arms around like I just don't care, but they both hurt today. I would like to thank my Patreon patrons. I need to change the names on this list again, but these are still Patreon patrons. Beautiful and awesome people. Thank you so much for helping me out. I and my aging pet would be holes like Christmas monkeys without your help. Thank you much. And to everybody who has donated to my GoFundMe or my PayPal in the past, thank you so very, 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 very much. With this move coming up, even if I don't have a place, I gotta move. So I need a U-Haul, I need a storage place, and then hopefully... so, we'll see what happens. But I'm going to go through and thank how many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. And if I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended. Oi, God, that hurts my neck just to move it side to side, too. Oh, excuse me. So, let me turn off this spotlight that I've had shining in my face the whole time. Call up my Chrome. And we have Jesse Koskinen. Good to see you in the comments, and here's a hoping. We have Laura, thumbs up, thank you very, very much. And there's J-A-Y-Y, thumbs up, greatly appreciate, good to see you. We have Raglandern, and luckily, the board of the Tiny Veterans House thing, they don't have a who's bringing what. It's just a, if there's an opening and you qualify, then you're in. But the rest of it, I'm just talking about talking out my fears. That's all the thing. So, we also have Joker. And again, it's with all the fears, just talking them out. Joker, thumbs up, thank you. There is Ernie Smith, thumbs up. Lena, tra-la-la-la-la, thumbs up and thank you. Aram, check, greatly appreciated. Fluffy big butt. It has a mini fridge. Not a full fridge, a mini fridge, but I only need a mini fridge. 77 Arcturus, thumbs up, thank you, greatly appreciated. And then we have User, thumbs up, the real one. I have been suffering basically from elder and financial abuse for the past 7 years from my housemates. They don't care. They literally do not care. There is Flora Mew, greatly appreciated. Good to see you in the comments, thumbs up. We have Larry from Space, thumbs up and thank you. And then we keep going down to the Slasher Files, greatly appreciated. And I have to keep scrolling. Mason NNK, thumbs up and thank you. Jason Cunningham, always good to see you in the comments, thumbs up and thank you. Zelos with an X, X-E-L-O-S, greatly appreciated. Sancode, S-A-N-K-O-D-E, who says, I really miss your original intro shout. I have had a lot of not shout outs, but things I've done in the beginning, I can't even remember what they are. My brain malfunctions. So if you can write down which one you mean, that would be cool. And then, that is it. Thumbs up, greatly appreciated. Each and every one of you. You get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people. Thumbs up and thank you. Waving my arms around like I just don't care. Yay. Well, I got therapy. After therapy, gotta head out, get that stuff printed and copied, then stop off at the Veterans Village, then back, and then hopefully something done for the rest of the day. I'd like to do a second video. I talked about yesterday how I like to do a second video for my mental health, a stable foundation of stuff, routine and habit. But of late it's been so hard, so we shall see. Thumbs up and thank you all. I've been playing still, of course, Halls of Torment, doing my best. I mean, yesterday I played Halls of Torment for a while. That was the only gaming I could do. The rest of the time I generally spent trying not to dissociate and dissociating. Not disassociating, just... so joy. Still, hopefully you can get done the things that you need to get done. That would be very, very cool. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very, very good thing. Now I have to turn on my controller so I can turn off the recording as I tug obsessively at my shirt so that it doesn't pile up on my growing belly. Yeah. hand in high contrast position. And you take care. I will see you.